Hi, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Leo. Welcome back to Yoga with Lynn and Leo.
And welcome to sequence 2 of our Improving Backbends sequencing. And this is for beginners.
All you're going to need is a blanket.
Okay, let's get started. Hopefully you're on your mat. If you have seen sequence 1, then you will be familiar with Adho, Mukha, Svanasana. So flatten your palms, middle finger, and Leo's pushing me off the mat here. Push your middle finger towards the end of the mat, tuck your toes under and come up, Adho, Mukha, Svanasana. So in this pose, you have to see that the legs and the arms are working really strongly. So see that you're pushing those thigh bones back really firmly and strongly, and using your legs now as a lever to get extension in your spine. So this is such a key pose when you're working to improve your flexibility, mobility, strength. It's such a good action to practice. Now we're going to bring the legs towards the hands now. Either soften your knees and jump, or step the feet in and come for Uttanasana. So when you come for Uttanasana, if you've got stiff legs, stiff hamstrings, fronts of the thighs, then place your hands onto the shins and look forward. If you are familiar with prop work, with yoga, Iyengar yoga particularly, then see that you place your bricks in front of you and be in Uttanasana. Okay, just take a few breaths in this position, lifting the sternum, chest, being sure that you're extending through the whole of the front of the body. As you extend the front of the body, you've got to hit those thigh bones back very strongly, so it's quite demanding action. Take a breath in and come up and stand up and be in the center of your mat for Tadasana. And again, this is when we scan the body from the base all the way through the center of the body. Pull up the kneecaps and thighs, take the weight right back into the heels, roll your shoulders back and down, and just take a couple of deep breaths just in preparation for your pose. So the first pose we're going to start with is Virabhadrasana 2. So we already practiced this in sequence 1, so you should be familiar with it. Taking the fingers to the chest, bend the knees and jump the legs apart. So when you're in this position, you're going to make a square with the leg. We did mention about the meridian line going all the way through the center of the body. Be sure that each arm is extending away from that meridian line. One reaches so you keep that extension. Now turn your left foot in, the whole of your right foot and leg out, lifting up through the center of the body, lifting through the legs as you bend that front leg. So bend the front leg. So you've got to see that you don't land pushing into those thighs. You can still lift through those legs and through the center of the body. Now turn to face the fingers, be in this position, lifting your sternum, chest. And now extending out of the pose by being strong in that back leg and coming up. Turning the feet to face forward. Turn your right foot in, the whole of your left foot and leg out. And remember, we've got to find that division through the center of the body, lifting up through the sternum, reaching those arms very strongly. And as we bend this leg, we've got to be stronger with that back leg now. Stronger with the back leg. Push into the back leg really firmly, really strongly. Lift up, chest up. Now turn to face the fingers. Look along those fingers. Soft inhalation and exhalation. So seeing that when you're in this position, you've got to keep that lift, keep the grip of the hips in, and then take a breath in and come up. Turn the feet to face forward, and then bend the knees and jump the legs together. Stand in Tadasana. So we're going to see that we again scan the body from the base, spread the toes, spread the soles of the feet, pull up through the legs, kneecaps, lift up through the center of the body and roll your shoulders back and down. And lifting the sternum, chest. Just take a couple of breaths. Just take time. As soon as you're off this mat, you're into the world in your busy lives. Just be for a few moments Breathe in, soft inhale, soft exhale. Okay, so the next action we're going to come for is Parighasana. So this is going down onto a floor level, well, halfway really. Now Leo's got the blanket so that she can place her foot onto this blanket if need be. Some of you may find that you need to fold this mat to give you a little bit more padding. Some of the mats these days come quite in thick form, so you might not need it, depending. So when you're in this kneeling position, you have to see that the tops of the feet ground down, the shins ground down. So you're not on the knee itself, you're on the head of the shin, which is the very top bit of the shin. And then press your arms down as if you're in Tadasana again. Press your palms down and now lift your sternum chest up. Roll your shoulders back and down. Keep that action. Now you're going to take your right leg out to the side and then straight. So see that when you straighten that leg, that you get that rotation of the thigh, extending the leg. Now what tends to happen is that the leg starts to drop down. So you've got to bend the leg a little bit and see that the whole of it, as if you're drawing a pencil from the inside of the thigh to the outer thigh. Get that pencil line, yeah. Now instead of straightening the leg at the knee, you've got to lift up, so you can see here, you've got to lift up the back of the hamstring, the insert. Yeah, this has all got to lift up, I know. And see, this is a really tough pose. Now, some people have no problem, they can place the heel, the ball of the foot down flat. Well, that's, if you're one of those people, that's absolutely fine too. But what we don't want to see is this action, watch. Can you see? This is like, you're just dropping everything down and the leg needs to support you. So start with that slightly bent leg and lift the back of the thigh, lift up through the back of the hamstring. It's a very, very strong action. It's all got to go up. And then the arms go out to the side. And we're just going to keep the palms this way so that you hinge over, similar to your Uttanasana that we practiced yesterday. Extend the arm up. Now you can reach the arm up. Now if it rotates in the socket, then you can change the arm over. You've still got to get this. So what happens is that we tend to drop here and then drop down. So it's a drop-in pose. So we're going to see that we lift up with the leg. It gives us that support. It's one of the hardest poses, lateral poses, and reach over. It happens to be on our introductory syllabus, but it is, in fact, a very challenging pose. Okay, and then release it. That's a toughie, isn't it?
It really is. I have to say, I find that more difficult as I go on with my practice.
Because you actually start to learn about the subtle actions in the body and the pose, and then you realise actually there's a lot to be corrected. There's always a lot to be corrected. So come to the other side, and the Parighasana action is really beautiful for the side waist and extension throughout the whole of the side of the body. So again, placing the foot and again getting that rotation, cutting back and lifting up through the body. That's it. And then extending those arms out, reaching up, pulling up the kneecap and thigh, and then extend over into Uttanasana. So sometimes, we have to revisit these poses. And I said Uttanasana, I didn't mean Uttanasana in Parighasana. So extend the top arm up and rotating and taking the arm over, being in this position. So it is challenging. The full action is turning the arm and rotating. The palm is this way and then you continue extending. But we all know that when you extend this way, you've got to extend this way. You've got to extend up. You've got to extend back deeply with the creases and the root of the thigh so strongly. So it's quite a challenging action to get. And then take a breath in and come up and releasing. You'll be pleased to know we finished that one. Okay, so we're coming for Virabhadrasana. So when we come for Bharadvajasana now, we're going to revisit this pose. We practice this in sequence 1, but this time we're going to catch the arm. Now, those of you who will find this a little bit difficult, if you've got stiff shoulders, but this is one of the first twists that really involves that opening of the chest. It's really a lovely pose to practice to keep this upper body really mobile and flexible. So taking the legs now to your left side, placing your blanket, if you need it, to the right. Now the difference is that you have to lift up, move those shoulder blades very deeply in, roll those shoulder blades down, but also the action of the inner shoulder blades got to move deeply towards the rib cage. And now reach in, the left arm up, and turn. Now take the arm to the outer side of the thigh, and lift up again. Now, this back arm needs to come back and swing back. If you've got room, swing it back and catch your upper arm. Now, if this is difficult for you to do, then you can place the belt around the upper arm and catch hold of that. Now, this is when the work begins, whether you're holding onto a belt or whether you are coming into the classic pose. You don't just sit there. Now, this is when it begins. You have to hold onto the upper arm and move those shoulder blades in and get that turn in action. Turn. Keeping this grounded down, keeping the outer hip of the left side down strongly, and rotate. Good. And then release it. So the upper chest has really got to be very active in this pose. Taking the legs now to your right side. And lifting up. Lifting out of the pelvis. And now see that you extend up with your right arm, reaching as far as you can into the fingertips, rotate, turn in the spine, taking the hand down to the outer side of the thigh. And now swing that back arm back and hold. And now this is when you've got to really work against that traction. So the traction is with the arm being held. So you have to see that you lift up. So you use the back wrist to push into the back body to help you to get even more lift. And such a lovely action, such a good extension of the upper back. It's almost like you're creating that back bend, but in a twisting action. And then releasing and straightening the legs. So now we're going to come for Chaturanga Dandasana. So this is an interesting one because this is when we really do need to connect with the front body. So we spoke about that in Adho. Okay. So lying in a prone position, tuck your toes under and press into your hands. And you've got to lengthen the tailbone, but also you have to see that this area is open. So you've got to lift the chest. You've got to see that you get your Parighasana action in your upper body. Lengthen the sternum, chest, tuck your toes under. Now the backs of the legs lift off of the floor, and now it's the upper body. Now what happens here is that the lower abdomen lifts okay, fine for a lot of people, but it's that upper abdominal area. You have to see that you lift it underneath your rib cage. Lift it underneath your rib cage and press into your palms and see if you can lift up. Oh, very good. And then releasing down. Now, this next action is going to be quite challenging because We're coming into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana from this position. So we're going to go straight up into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and then we're going to join two together if we can. So it'll be quite challenging. So push into your feet, press into your hands, and now lift the whole of the body off the floor, the front body off the floor, extend up. That's it. Now, see if you can bring your front body towards your arms, and then see if you can turn your feet so that you come onto the tops of the feet. Now, I want to see that you lift from the back of the sacral area, because this is a back bend. So the back of the sacral area, you have to lift all the way up, all the way through the center of the body, and then release yourself down. Okay, so you have to roll those feet back to come down and just rest your forehead. Okay, now this time is a little bit more challenging because we're going to come into Chaturanga Dandasana and then Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so come on then, let's do it. So taking the toes under, and now see that you lengthen the sternum chest. Remember Chaturanga Dandasana. Now, we lift that lower abdomen very well, but now you've got to see that the upper abdominal area lifts through towards the ribs. You've got to see that you get that extension before you lift up. Press into your palms and now lift up. Yes. Now see, can you lift your chest and come into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana? It's challenging. And lift your sternum chest and then slowly releasing down. And resting your forehead onto your arms. Now, if that's coming really as a challenge for you, then that's your challenge for a little while to see if you can get that action. So we're going to come into Adho Mukha Virabhadrasana now. So taking yourself back. So these routines are fairly short, so that you can fit them into a time scale. After work, before work, lunchtime, if you're not eating anything. So see that you're reaching back. And just take a few breaths to just release the body. So once you can memorize these sequences, then you can do them a little bit quicker. Soft inhalation, soft exhalation. Back of the pelvis towards the back of the heels. Soft inhale, soft exhale. So we're going to come for Shavasana, but a bent leg Shavasana now, just to rest the back. I'm not going to be in this position for very long, but just lie down, keep the knees bent, feet bent. And again, readjust the back of the pelvis. If you find that you get a little bit of tightness in your lower back, lengthen the tailbone towards the heel side. And now just work at releasing the abdomen. So you have to see that the soft tissue fibre around the abdominal area just drops towards the spine. Take a few deeper, longer breaths. So as you breathe through your nostrils, just take a moment or two to expand the ribs and open the chest. We're going to be coming out of this pose now. So Leo's going to roll to her right side and come up into a seated position. And as we said before, it's really nice to finish your practice just with your legs crossed and taking a few deeper inhalations and exhalations. So be there with your chest nicely lifted. Just practicing slightly deeper inhale and exhale. We hope you enjoyed today's video.
And we look forward to seeing you next time. If you like the video, please click on the like button. If you enjoyed our videos generally, then please do subscribe. Namaste.
Namaste.